Jude Matei.
She's had a crocker here.
Hello out there in internet land. This is episode 23 of the Stop the Damn Match Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Phil Lamington. Ever so slightly tired. Good Lord, I need a holiday. Sitting to my left, because we've decided to swap sides, sitting to my left is Dr. Seamus. How are you?
Pretty good. You snooze, you lose, Johnny.
And speaking of snoozing, sitting to my right is a very hungover and very tired JB. JB, how are you?
I'm here.
And sending in her responses to the pay-per-view again is our foreign correspondent back. She's back.
Our foreign correspondent who's not foreign or even in a different country. and not actually foreign correspondent.
A female correspondent.
Well, some of her opinions are a bit foreign.
That's true.
Right, so we just finished watching WWE Backlash. So glad it's just called Backlash, not WrestleMania Backlash, because Vince McMahon...
Backlash.
We'll get to Vince McMahon soon, like later on, way later on. But we're going to talk about the pay-per-view first. And we're not going to muck about with opinions at the start first. We're going to get straight into it. The first match was for the Raw Women's Championship between Raw Women's Champion until next week, Bianca Belair, versus Io Sky. It sort of struck me that the crowd was cheering more for Io Sky than they were for Bianca Belair. I think it's the first sign of people sort of saying we're really sick of Bianca Belair.
Absolutely.
It was a very athletic match. Like, those two had lots of flippy-dippy shit, and it was very athletic.
It's to be expected from an ear match, though.
But then you had Bianca Belair was trying to do a one-arm press slam and nearly dropped Io Sky on her fucking neck. That was scary as. But they kept going. Io hit a really amazing moonsault from the top rope to Bianca on the outside. And then Io tried doing a Hurricane Rana on the second rope. But Belair blocked it and turned it into a second rope powerbomb. Then Damage Control came down and interfered. But eventually Bianca Belair hit the KOD, and Bianca Belair retains her Raw Women's Championship via pinfall. So we'll start with you, Shay. What were your thoughts on the match?
Io had a really good showing, even before like the shenanigans at the end. I was sort of hoping she was going to win, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. But it'd be nice to see Io with a singles title. She can definitely go by herself. She doesn't need Damage Control to push her up anymore. I definitely think she should break off from them, or they should split those guys up and do single stuff. They were cool when they first came together. SummerSlam, I think it was?
Yeah.
But yeah, they need to split them up and just either have them as a tag team, not as a trios, or split them up and have them all singles. I'll give it a 3. It was okay. It wasn't the worst thing, but wasn't the best.
JB?
Yeah, same. I'll give it a 3 as well. Good showing by Io. That's the first one. That's the first time I've really taken notice of her, actually. And she held her own pretty good, but yeah, you're right. The crowd cheering for Io over Bianca is because we're tired of Bianca as champion. So hopefully that belt is off her sooner rather than later.
All right, and this is what Beck had to say to me. She's like, look, Io was never going to win. We all knew that. We weren't going to give the belt to Bianca. because Bianca beat Asuka at WrestleMania a month ago. So this match was completely unnecessary. Besides a few rope jumps from Io and that one arm lift from Bianca, it was kind of boring until Bayley and Dakota came out, even then it was just mildly entertaining. She gave it 1.5.
Ooh, there's harsh critics in the house.
Wow, I thought she would have given it a 5 out of 5. But I think my thoughts on the match were, I think that Io carried Bianca Belair.
Yep, 100%.
I think the problem with Bianca Belair is she needs someone to carry her through a match. Because she might be a great power lifter and she might be able to do flippy dippy shit and whatever. But when it comes to the mechanics of a match, which is, I don't know, the core of being a wrestler, she fundamentally fumbles the ball like a...
Yeah, she needs someone to lead it or to guide her through the story of the match. Doing the actual move, she's fine most of the time.
And she just comes across as really sloppy.
Sloppy.
Yeah. And I don't, not that kind of sloppy. But I mean, like, you try and do a one-arm press and you end up nearly dropping her on her neck. That's craptacular. But I do agree with Beck. Like, we all knew Io wasn't going to win the belt. If she had won the belt, that would have been a small miracle and the biggest pop of the night. But, it wasn't going to happen. We knew it. So it kind of felt like this match could have been on Raw. But I still gave it a 2.5. So the next match was John, you had this as possibly the greatest match since WrestleMania. Seth freaking Rollins versus Omos.
Yes.
I didn't put many notes down for this, but Rollins was bumping his ass off to make Omos look good. Because Omos would just hit a move and then just go... Kind of like my dog barking at the goddamn possum. But towards the end, Seth Rollins hit 2 stomps and then a top rope stomp onto Omos to get the pinfall and the win, which means that is 2 matches in a row now on pay-per-view that Omos has lost, which really is not building anything for Omos.
It's not really building a monster, is it?
No, it's sort of saying he's big, he's great. Oh, he's a dummy who can't win a damn match.
Well, it's the Big Show 2.0.
I just got to turn him babyface and then heel about 1,000 times.
And then get the crowd to just chant, "Please retire."
Yeah.
Till he cries.
Yeah. Or get the big boss man to read out a really awesome card about his recently passed father.
Yeah.
With tears that are soaked, I'm sorry to hear your dad finally croaked. That was on the card.
I forgot that was a thing.
So, JB, what are your thoughts on the match? Give me a rating. What are your thoughts?
Well, look, obviously, we knew it was going to be a tactical masterpiece. We all know how Seth can go in the ring. We all know that Omos is just getting better and better every time he gets between the ropes. And this was no exception. He was absolutely on his game tonight. He was leading Seth around the ring brilliantly as the ringmaster that he is. And, he's getting better every time I see him step through the ropes. So this was clearly a 2.5 out of 5 performance.
So you give him the match 2.5, or you just give an Omos 2.5?
Yeah, the match 2.5. It wasn't anything great. It's good, but genuinely, all jokes aside, Omos is getting better.
What about if it was in Japan?
Oh, 7. Easy. The Japanese will think it's Godzilla, though, and they'll run. Like, oh, Godzilla. Like that meme I saw the other day. It's like, when you visit Japan, and it's like this average-sized dude, but like the doors are really small. He's got a duck everywhere, and he's like, when you visit Japan and you wonder if Godzilla was just a normal-sized lizard.
So I'll give you Beck's BP, Beck's picks. She gave it a 2 out of 5. Better write that down. She's like, I'm so done with Seth being the big dog in the mid-cards. So starting off with a kick before the bell and a clothesline that sent Rollins flying off the screen made me laugh. Omos ragdolling Seth 90% of the match was fun, but ended with a stomp from the top rope for Seth for the win. Was entertaining, but with a predictable ending. Shay?
I'll give it a 2.5. Omos, I was actually pleasantly surprised with. He is actually getting better compared to when we first seen him with like AJ, and he was really doing a whole bunch of nothing other than a spot. Now he's actually able to do a normal match.
Now he's doing a spot closer together. Spot, pause, spot, pause, spot, pause.
But
The gaps are getting smaller.
Yeah.
the gaps are getting smaller. You can
Soon,
see,
soon he'll be out. Soon it'll look like he's actually wrestled a match.
you can see
He'll
him.
start looking like Goldberg.
Yeah. I mean, hey, well, let's not go that far.
You can see he's improving, which is the main thing, though.
He
He
is
was
genuinely getting better, which is good.
looking a lot less green, fucking up a whole bunch less. You can definitely tell that he is training with Taker and actually taking it all to heart. You know, all I can say is if he keeps continuing getting better like this, maybe he'll become a fully fledged monster over time.
Yeah, just slap the World Heavyweight Championship
Oh,
on him.
God,
like Great
please.
Khali.
Might as well.
Please don't.
He can bend his knees, unlike Great Khali.
Hey, he can actually fucking move, unlike most giants.
Great Giant Gonzalez could move his knees. He just
Barely.
couldn't cut a promo. All he'd sit there and say is, Ric Flair, I'll kill you.
He just had that weird fucking bodysuit.
Sid Vicious could move his knees until he snapped his leg in half.
Don't ask him to cut a promo, though.
Don't ask him to jump up the top rope.
That too.
Even he thought it was a bad idea.
Well, yeah. Apparently he's a really nice guy, though. Like,
But he
I
has half
saw
the
Kevin
brain.
Nash was talking about him, and he's like, yeah, he was actually a really nice guy. But like any push that he had, he would kill it himself. Like, they were sitting there saying to him in the early 90s, they're like, oh, we're going to give you Hogan's boots. And Sid turns around and goes, yeah, but you guys really need a big heel. And they're sitting there going, but we're giving you Hogan's boots. He's like, yeah, but you need a 7-foot heel. And Nash is just sitting there going, you idiot. They're trying to give you Hogan's babyface push. And you're sitting there saying, nah, we need a heel.
I want to be a heel, man. It's fine.
You fucking idiot.
Here, you could be the next
He
Hogan.
really does have half the brain everyone else does.
Here, you could be Hogan. Nah, I just want to be a run-of-the-mill heel, please.
Yeah, just Captain Generic.
I don't want the responsibility. Just fucking give it to someone else.
Yeah, well, I watched that episode of biographies on Lex Luger on A&E channel, and
I wish I could watch the A&E channel.
you watch the episode, and all everyone ever says is, you know that character he played, that Luger played, called the Narcissist? That really was Luger. Like, he did not like other people. He was arrogant. He thought he was the greatest thing ever. And then when he did the Lex Express, the problem was they were trying to push him as the next Hulk Hogan.
Whole who?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. The problem is that Lex Luger doesn't like people. So he's doing this tour where he's got to meet kids. And kids are like, can you sign this? And he's like, no, I can't do that right now. And you're like, you fucking idiot.
You gotta visit sick kids in hospital. Fuck that, they're sick.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sick. Fuck
I don't
that.
want to get sick.
It's like saying, do you want to be a Stone Cold face or do you want to be a Stone Cold heel? No, I want to be a Stone Cold heel.
Yeah. We're going to give you Hulk Hogan's boots. No, I want to be a 7-foot heel. We need a 7-foot heel. You fucking what?
Yeah, the heel of the boot man.
My thoughts on the match. I think Omos. I think Rollins did a really great job of making Omos look good by bumping his ass off for him. Omos is getting better, but I really think they should have stuck Omos in NXT and really got him working there before they stuck him on the main roster. He's been pushed to the moon a little bit too premature. I gave the match a 2. Right, so moving along, now we got the triple threat match for the United States Championship between the champion Austin Theory, or as I like to call him as default creator wrestler number 6, Bronson Reed, the Australian we keep forgetting who he is, or that he exists, and Bobby Lashley,
The boob.
the mat wrestler that Vince McMahon seems to forget exists.
Remember that time he was ECW champion? Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I remember that time Umaga jumped at him through a cage.
Umanga.
Umanga.
Never changed.
The only relevant thing was Umaga versus Bobby Lashley in that hair versus hair match. It's about the only time Bobby was
Wasn't that
really...
See, the thing
Trump
was,
versus McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was Umaga and Lashley that were wrestling.
and Austin was the referee.
Yes.
Yeah. But always remember, like, Bobby Lashley in his first run with the company, how much, like, I really wanted Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. And you fast forward 15 years later and we got it. We didn't want it.
It was fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was bloody terrible. Because you got a Bobby Lashley who's just a watered-down Brock Lesnar now. And a Brock Lesnar who's just like, I got 3 moves because it worked for fucking Hogan. And
Yeah.
Cena. And The Rock.
It's like, let's put Goldberg and Austin together. This will work. Nobody wanted it.
No. I thought Bronson Reed was really athletic. Like he comes across to me as like a combination of Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Which I'm totally okay with.
But his outfit makes him look like Tugboat
And Earthquake.
and Earthquake.
And his finishing move is called Tsunami.
The only thing missing is putting a glitterized stormtrooper helmet on his head and making him walk through a wall, watching him trip over on live TV. But, you know, at least he'd have an Aussie accent when he did it. There's not much really to the story in this match. Like, it was just... I don't want to say it was a big burly man brawl or a schmoz or whatever, but it was just... It felt like it was 2 guys just hit a move, smashy, smashy. And then Theory would try and do something and get overpowered because both boys are beefy boys and he couldn't lift them.
No, he tried to and nearly suplexed, or nearly slammed
Bronson
Bronson.
Reed.
God damn it.
So you can't remember who he is. Just put him in the bloodline. Problem solved. But eventually, Bobby Lashley hit a spear on Bronson Reed. And then Theory threw Lashley out and pinned Bronson Reed and retained the United States Championship.
Much to the displeasure of Lashley.
I honestly don't think WWE knows what to do with either Bronson Reed or Bobby Lashley.
Or Austin Theory.
Oh, Austin Theory just can't get over.
Theory's just like the shit-eating heel that's just taking advantage all the time. It's like a less famous Miz.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want to compare Austin Theory to someone, the closest thing to what Austin Theory is Grayson Waller. And Grayson Waller has a lot more charisma and personality than him.
Mm.
Yeah, so... Right, so that's what happened in the match. We'll go to Beck's rant. So she's 3 physically larger men from the mid-card.
You mean 2. 2 and 1 sort of small man.
Yeah, 2.5 larger men.
2.5 men.
Men.
From the mid-cards walk into a ring for the IC champion. No, it's
Was that a
UC.
joke?
It's a UC US title.
Was that a joke? Was that the start of a joke? 3 men walking to a bar?
Sounds like the start of a bad joke. That's what she's got. But this was anything but a joke. This was exciting to watch. Giant bodies flying around and smacking into each other. Jesus Christ. Sounds like she's describing a large person's porno movie.
Meaty men slapping meat. That's good shit, pal.
Reed has the body shape of a wrecking ball, so having
Kill
him
you fat.
so so having him jumping off ropes was awesome. Austin, being the smaller of the three, gave him an advantage when being faster, hence the win. And she gave it 3 out of 5. JB.
Yeah, Bronson Reed is damn athletic. I'm really going to look forward to seeing more of him.
Yeah, if they ever figure out what to do with him.
Not dressing like Tugboat.
He needs to be the Shockmaster.
You got a bicycle.
I think of Uncle Fred.
And he flopped that helmet down, and I just started laughing with the... rumbling with the laughter.
Yeah, and, you know, Bobby Lashley, they don't know what to do with him. He's not good enough to be a top champion, and he's not good enough to be a mid-card champion either. And then, yeah, generic creator wrestler number 3 just keeps winning matches because why not?
It's almost like they want Theory to be a new heel John Cena.
They want Theory to be over, and he'll never be over. He'll just never be over. He's got no charisma.
Yeah.
He's boring. 3 out of 5, though. I actually enjoyed the match. It was good, especially Bronson coming off the top.
Shay?
I'll give it a 3.5. It was actually an okay match. No story in it. Austin just being a little shitter and taking advantage when he could. Bronson definitely has good things coming, I reckon, in his run. Excuse me. He's more athletic than both of the guys in the ring. Bobby being very, very close second. He can do a lot of flippy-dippy shit that a lot of people his size can't do. As he said, he's like Bam Bam and Vader combined, which I'm totally okay with, having a big guy being able to do athletic shit. Sort of reminds me also of, what's his name? He's in...
Samoa Joe?
Sort of, no, he's in AEW. Maya Yim's other half.
Powerhouse Hobbs?
No, not Hobbs. Maya Yim's other half.
Oh,
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee.
Yeah, he reminds me of like a more athletic version of Keith Lee as well.
Keith Lee has got a lot of charisma, though.
Yeah, Keith Lee has charisma to back it up.
When he cuts a promo, Keith Lee reminds me of Jake the Snake Roberts. Just that real calm, talk to you like you're a normal person.
But he's going to fuck you up.
And he lets his actions in the ring do all the talking.
That dude got old quick.
Yeah.
How quickly did that motherfucker turn grey?
I think it's just because he dyed his hair.
Yeah, I guess.
It happens.
I know, but like, in WWE...
And you can't say much. Where did your hair go?
Where did your hair go?
Yeah, well, God gave me a haircut.
So, yeah.
You know what's bad when I got the most hair out of us 3 here?
Yeah, but I'm the oldest too, so you can shut the blue hell up.
For how much longer, though, Shay? For how much longer?
You shut your damn mouth.
Yeah, we know where you live, buddy.
The downfall is coming, my friend.
I know where you live because I'm here.
Yeah, but I got stuff that can knock you out. You'll wake up with a dick drawn on your face and no hair on your head. Isn't that right, John? He's like, I'm not joining in this. Yeah, after I give you a carton of bloody VB.
Yeah, sure, I'm in.
Yeah, there we go.
Just needs a bit of convincing.
So my thoughts on the match. I didn't think there was much of the story of this match. It was just big boys doing a big burly brawl.
Match. It was a throw together match like a lot of these matches were.
But I do think that WWE needs to do more with Bronson Reed. I think he would be a perfect guy if they ever brought back the television title. He would be a perfect guy to slap the TV title on. But Theory is still just vanilla as a character. And I just can't...
He's not getting better as a character.
No. But I gave the match a 3. So, right, moving right along to the next match, which was the SmackDown Women's Championship. between Rhea Ripley until next week versus Zelina Vega of the LWO. So Zelina got a massive pop from the crowd because of her heritage and being in the LWO. But eventually Zelina, because Zelina was mainly on offense in the match.
Yes.
At one point she hit the 619, and then Rhea Ripley hit a very solid kick in the head. You know, that would have knocked Zelina's dick stiff. It was that hard. And then hit Zelina with a very solid riptide, pinned her, and retained the SmackDown Women's Championship. So I'll get Shay's thoughts on this one.
Zelina actually did really well. She put on a better showing than she has in quite a while. She's definitely very emotional going into the match, which, you know, being in her hometown is pretty cool to see, especially being one of the first few people that came out tonight. The crowd was way, way behind Zelina, but also quite a bit with Rhea as well. I mean, Rhea's just a good champion in general. I'll give it probably 3.5. It was actually pretty entertaining, even though she got her shit kicked in a bit. But
okay, JB.
Yeah, really. I enjoyed the emotion of the moment for Zelina. That was a big pop, and she was clearly emotional before the match started.
big flag girl.
Big flag girl, you know. She's crying. She's in her hometown. She's got 17,000 people cheering for her. And then Rhea went in and kicked her ass. So Rhea got a double plugger thrown at her. Like, that's an insult.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Like, the match started with Zelina throwing a plugger at Rhea Ripley. For all those who don't know what a plugger is, it's a rubber thong shoe. So we don't want people to think thong with, you know, G-string, like a sandal.
Yeah, I don't know why the Puerto Ricans have such an affinity with double pluggers, but it's good to see that we share something in common with them.
Yeah, you get a plugger thrown at you. That's
So,
an
yeah,
insult.
Slap you on the head with a plugger.
Okay?
That's an act of war, mate.
You get a plugger thrown at you, that means shut the fuck up.
That's paddling.
Yeah.
That's a thongin.
That's a thong. Slap you. Yeah, no, good match. 3 out of 5.
We'll go to Beck's opinion here. She said, let's go through the checklist. 1, in Puerto Rico. Except she spelt it wrong, but...
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. We're in, what, Italy?
Puerto Rico.
Welcome to Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Number 2, Rhea drafted Raw. Check. Number 3, Zelina having a Puerto Rico flag as wings.
Puerto
Check.
Rico. Check.
All the signs of the underdog Zelina winning were there, but Mummy Mummy won. I've got to bring this closer so I can actually read the damn thing. I was getting really angry about Zelina being set up to win, but nope. They did the old switcheroo and let Rhea keep her SmackDown belt on Raw, and I actually yelled, holy shit, when the 3 count came. Okay, now, match itself was way too quick, but that might be because of my love for Mummy. Rhea didn't do a whole lot, took a lot of bumps from Zelina, and then it abruptly ended. There was no build, it was just like, okay, time's up, quick, do a riptide and pin. But she gave it 3.5. Now, my opinion, I think Zelina Vega was solid, but when you watch her bounce off the ropes, she kind of looks like the divas from the mid-2000s that have no fucking clue what they're doing in a ring. Like, it was kind of like watching Tori Wilson bounce off the ropes. Yeah, same soft, like...
Yeah.
You know, like, if you're going to hit the ropes, hit the ropes. Like, hit them. There wasn't a lot in the match. Like, it was just Rhea taking a beating for a bit and a plugger getting thrown at her. And then Ripley just pounded the shit out of her for like 2 or 3 moves and got the pinfall.
Dude, that sounds hot.
Yes, I
And
know.
she also had Dum Dum on her pants, which is weird.
I never thought Zelina Vega was going to win the title.
No.
She never had a hope in Hades.
Yeah, she was never taking the belt off Rhea. Like, that was not an option.
Both women's matches tonight felt like they were just there for the sake of being there. There was no threat of the champion losing them. It was just they were there.
Yeah. But both challenges also put on like a good performance. Like,
Jesus.
I'm awake.
Yeah.
wake up!
Fuck.
I initially gave this match 1.5. I was just really like, yeah, meh, who cares?
Really?
But I bumped it up to a 2 because the plugger.
You thought it was that bad?
It didn't hit the spot.
I thought it did.
No, it didn't hit the spot with
The
me.
Puerto Rican chick in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I know. But it just didn't hit the spot with me. It just didn't connect with the match.
It wasn't about you.
It is about me.
It's about the people of San Juan.
Of Puerto Rico.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Juan 2-3.
I've never heard it. That is the first wrestling crowd I've ever heard not like do the 1, 2, 3. It's just like uno, dos, tres.
Clearly you haven't watched old ECW videos then.
No.
Because they counted everything in Spanish.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
When they do the corner punching, dude climbs up. They start going, uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Really?
Yeah,
Cinco says.
that one. Pretty fly for a rabbi. Next match was Damian Priest of the Judgment Day versus Bad Bunny of the LWO, the most popular international recording artist who, if it wasn't for
Can't speak
WWE,
English.
I wouldn't have known who the hell he was.
No idea who he is.
And it was a street fight. So I thought they had really good chemistry. Bunny hit a Falcon Arrow at one point. He also hit a Michinoku driver, but Shay and I debated over whether it was a Michinoku driver or just a fucked up Falcon Arrow. They had a bit of a punch up through the crowd. They ended up at the pyrotechnics desk where Damian Priest put Bad Bunny through a table using his own broken arrow. And then eventually they get back into the ring and Judgment Day comes out and starts trying to do over Bad Bunny. And then Rey Mysterio comes out. And then we get the first surprise. Carlito comes out.
Got jacked.
Looking huge.
Yeah, he was looking great, and he came out and he spat the apple in Dominic's face.
Backstabber.
Hit a backstabber, and then Judgment Day went to leave. Savio Vega shows up at the entranceway with the rest of the LWO and do over those two, and he hits his Savio Vega back heel kick on Finn Balor, and then Bad Bunny locked in the figure 4 on Damian Priest. And then Damian Priest got out of it, went to do something and smashed his head square into a steel chair that was put between 2 ropes in the corner. And then eventually Bad Bunny hits the fairly ordinary looking Canadian Destroyer. It was a fairly ordinary looking one. And Bad Bunny wins via pinfall. So to break the monotony, we'll start with Beck. Go with Beck's here. So she starts with, wait, isn't that the guy who's fucking a Kardashian? Why is he main eventing? It was a good match. Trash cans, chains, kendo sticks, chairs. Yes, very entertaining. I couldn't stop watching, but I just don't have any interest in Bunny. I don't get why Hez here. It's
H-E-S.
yeah, it helps if you put a
Apostrophe.
yeah.
Don't worry, we're in Puerto Rico where it doesn't matter.
English isn't their native language. Damian, not Damien,
Damien.
is part of Jude Matei.
She's had a crocker here.
How much did you have, Beck?
Oh, Jesus, Beck.
She's like 7 vodkas deep by now.
So Jude Matei
In Puerto Rico.
Jesus
nice.
Christ.
Just imagine she's just like getting more and more hammered as the match goes on.
We broken.
So, Jesus Christ.
We'll be right back after this.
Technical difficulties. Uno dos tres.
Right, King's Coronation. Right,
Oh.
so Judgment Day with Mummy, and that's where my loyalty lies. Here comes Dom and Bella to help Damien, but then was followed by Reign. Surprise, here is Carlito, Savio Vega, and the LWO to fight off Dom and Bella. That was so much fun, but I'm still confused about Bad Bunny being here. All in all, that was cool. 2.5 stars.
2.5, really?
Yeah.
She is into the vodkas.
Yeah, well, when you spell it as Judgment Day,
Judgment Day.
and if you don't believe me, you read it. You read it.
I don't want to. My brain hurts.
I'm too hungover for this shit. Well, JB, you can slap an opinion on that.
Yeah, man. Match of the night. 4 out of 5. It was awesome.
Eh?
Yeah. Bad Bunny can go. I'm all for it. I'm all for these guys that just come in and go. Like, Bad Bunny can go and Jake Paul can go. They can all wrestle. Like, they go nuts. And, you know, obviously, in Puerto Rico, in San Juan, in front of, like, his home people, where he's making all this money and all this weird music. It was good.
So Shay is just showing me something. It's from the
What is that?
Manly versus the Broncos, where someone's taken a photo or screenshot of the Broncos Manly game, where someone from the Broncos is putting a Manly player in the walls of Jericho in the tackle.
That's interesting.
And so someone has posted it on Twitter and tagged Jericho in it. And Jericho's replied with excellent technique.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
That's
good.
cool. That is cool.
Yes. So yeah, match of the night. I thought it was awesome.
Yep.
That was good. And it was awesome to see Carlito. Jacked Carlito.
Shay.
I give this match a 4. It was quite good. A whole bunch of surprises, which is cool to see. Carlito being probably the biggest surprise of the night coming out. Nobody expected him to come out there, and he's jacked as fuck. And I do hope he's here to stay, because he's a great mid-card. Maybe even on the upper card now, due to how big he is. And
Priest.
No, Carlito.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Priest had a really good showing. Bad Bunny had an excellent showing that he can actually do a full match.
Am I the
With
only
someone
person who'd like to see Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul?
You mean Jake Paul? Wait, which one? Which one does the wrestling?
Logan.
I reckon Jake could wrestle too. The Paul brothers in a tag match with Bad Bunny and someone else.
I reckon it'd be alright, but
The guy from Arrow.
You need someone to steer. Someone to
Stephen
steer.
Amell.
Yeah, Steve Amell and Bad Bunny versus the Paul brothers in a tag match. How good would that be? Sorry, I said Jake Paul before too. I meant Logan Paul.
The non-professional wrestling match.
The non-professionals, but they can all go.
Yeah. But I quite enjoyed that match. Definitely match of the night by a margin.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a solid match. I did think it was a little bit underwhelming until the cameos, until like the LWO and Savio Vega and Carlito and all that started happening, and then it sort of picked up from there. Originally, I was going to give this match a 3, but I bumped it up to a 3.5 because I do think it was better than what my initial thoughts on the match were. It's amazing how they called that the co-main event, despite the fact it was the third last match on the card.
Yeah.
Because the next match on the card was Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Matt Riddle versus the Bloodline, which is the Usos and Solo Sikoa. This match, for me, was slow.
And boring. It took the steam out of the room, eh?
It really did. Like,
I thought the crowd was just flat because, Bad Bunny's done. But this match was super slow.
I'll get to my final thoughts on it in a few minutes, but I think the match sort of started picking up when Jimmy accidentally super kicked Jay. He was going for KO, and KO got out of the way, and he super kicked Jay. Then Sammy was double super kicked after hitting the flying nothing, where he just jumped off the top rope and ate 2 super kicks.
Yes.
There seems to be a lot of tension between Jay and Solo. And Solo eventually hits the Samoan spike on Riddle. And the Bloodline wins via pinfall. So, Shay, we'll go with you.
I think you definitely were right. There was a lot slower than everything else on the night. It's a very average match. The problem is, this is a story-based match, or a story-based scenario, and there was a few story moments, when they accidentally super kicked each other there, and Solo, wanting to Samoan spike the shit out of Jay. But other than that, it didn't really have much going for it. Sammy and KO didn't really need to be there, to be honest. They're the champions, but they need to move on to something else now and stop, hounding those guys. There really isn't too much left there. They kind of blew the load at Mania.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it is there. And it took all the wind out of everybody's sails, that people kind of had their climax with that and want them to move on to something else.
What are you giving it out of 5?
I'll give it a 3.5. It was still an okay match, but a lot slower and not really too much in the way of story.
JP?
Yeah. $2.99. $2.99. Just, it was slow, but it obviously is very much storyline pointing towards the final demise of the Bloodline as a faction. It's coming. Solo's going to turn on the Usos and probably go after Roman at some point, so that'll be good. But yeah, it was slow. Like, it took the momentum of the card away, and I think you could have got this same sort of match on Raw. I don't think there's anything super special about it. So I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay. Brace yourself.
Always.
She goes, okay, you guys will hate me, but I just don't care about the Bloodline or Zayn or Owens. I don't know if it's because I stopped watching WWE for a while, and that's when they got big and climbed up to high cards, or if this whole thing is mainly riding on a storyline that I don't get to follow or something. But this match has 0% of my interest. I don't think I'd be fair, so I won't rate this one. So she's given it no score. So I'll just fill in the blank. I'll give it a 5. 5 out of 5.
Back, I'll give it a 5.
Yeah. 5. The match itself was just a blur. So many things happening at once, and that George of the Jungle looking motherfucker was great.
That's Matt Riddle.
Oh, yeah, okay, Matt Riddle. Well, I'll give it a 2.5. Yeah.
Matt Riddle is an odd choice to be pairing up with Kevin Owens. How long until Randy Orton's back?
Not sure.
Can't be far off.
Not sure at this point. He might actually have retired.
Surely he'd announce that.
But my thoughts on the match. This was a slow match that really didn't capitalize on the energy that the WrestleMania tag match had. I know it's trying to tell the story of dissension between Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns, and the Usos. But if you don't have a frenetic match where you've got the excuse of someone getting super kicked by their partner because everything's going to hell in a handbasket, then you can't you can't justify anything. You know, like you had that clear spot where Solo Sikoa was taking everyone out with Samoan spikes, and then he grabs Jey Uso and is holding him for like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Like, there's no plausibility there. There's no, oh God, this could happen. We're just baiting you into he's going to hit him eventually.
We know he's going to hit him eventually. Like, we don't need to be told that.
The thing is, for me, is that this match...
This match didn't even need to be on the card, to be honest.
I think this match should have been on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago, and the tag title match between Owens and Zayn versus the Usos should have been on this pay-per-view. They had them around the wrong way.
Yeah.
You could have gotten 2 matches out of this by having Riddle versus Solo Sikoa and the tag match versus, the tag title match. But they've got it ass backwards, and it hasn't done anything else other than the Usos, the Bloodline won.
It proves its point. Now you're going to tune in on Friday to see Roman Reigns come back.
Yeah.
Because now you got to figure out what the fuck's Roman's going to make of this.
So
Roman's going to be up in Solo's grill, and he's going to be up in everybody's grill. And it's going to cause more dissension between the ranks.
I think Reigns and Solo are going to turn on the Usos. I think that's what's going to happen. It won't be them turning on Solo.
Solo turning on Roman.
No.
You reckon?
No. I think the best thing they need to do is get the US title on Solo and keep Solo and Roman Reigns as the Bloodline. And keep them as a unit.
Yeah, right.
But I think the Usos are past their use-by date. Which then leads us right along to the final match on the card, which is between Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. Why this match happened? Reasons.
Yeah.
That's the storyline. Reasons. So it started off with an explosive start. Like, this match had a lot more energy than the previous one.
Yes.
At one point, Cody Rhodes took the turnbuckle pad off and then got German suplexed and flicked it into the crowd. But I think security promptly came along and took the turnbuckle pad off them, because the crowd started booing. Eventually, Brock Lesnar hit said exposed turnbuckle, and it busted him open big time.
Legitimately.
He was bleeding like Ric Flair bleeding.
Yeah. Legitimately, he didn't bleed. Like, this was a legitimate cut.
Yeah. And, he bled like Ric Flair. Just everywhere.
Bled like a stuffed pig.
That too. Cody then hit the diamond cutter, then punched him a butt and got a bit more blood all over him and wiped it all over himself, and then hit the Cody cutter. And then Cody hit 2 crossroads. Lesnar hit an F5 and Cody kicked out of it, which means that the F5 is now pretty much redundant as a finisher.
The F5 is just a regular move now, like the DDT.
Or like a German suplex.
Yeah.
I will admit, Lesnar's suplexes in this were brutal.
Oh, yeah, he didn't miss the mark with the suplexes.
And then Brock Lesnar locked in the Kimura. And then Cody Rhodes reversed the Kimura into a pin. Cody Rhodes gets the pinfall and wins the match. So I'll start with Beck. We'll get her opinion out of the way.
Was this match a blur too? She's had too many vodkas. Everything's a blur and I can't rate.
Yeah, she's a member of the Judement Day.
In Puerto Rico.
Stop saying it, you make me laugh.
All this excitement from Puerto Rico.
We love Cody Rhodes. The match was obviously supposed to go longer than what it did, but because Brock did big whoopsie and cut his face on the turnbuckle, obviously they had to stop the match and wrap up quickly and be super careful with it. The match was unpredictable up until that point. It was either going to be a snuff out of Cody's momentum or a massive push. I'm glad they went for the latter. And she gave it 2.5 stars. JB?
Yeah, it was a pretty good match, actually. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. I thought it was physical before the bell even rang, actually. And then during the match, it was physical, and then I liked the finish. I actually liked the finish of Brock's Kimura getting counted into a pin. That was a nice touch. And I'm always a fan of colour, so a bit of blood didn't go astray, accidental or not. But yeah, I thought it was a good match. I don't know what it proves, but I don't think it just makes Cody Rhodes the number 1 contender for the title again, does it?
Well, no, he's been drafted to Raw, so he's going to be in the tournament to crown the new World Heavyweight Champion.
He's going to get the new big gold belt.
Possibly.
The consolation title of, sorry you couldn't beat Roman when it mattered, here's a gold belt. The participation trophy of WWE.
Woo, consolation prize!
Shane, what are your thoughts?
I give it a 3.5. It was, don't get me wrong, I love Cody Rhodes and love his matches. Don't mind Brock as well, but it's still a Brock match. You're not going to get a wrestling masterpiece out of a Brock match. Don't get me wrong, he sells his ass off, but just not too much in it. The LWO Bad Bunny match Priest match was definitely the match of the night. This one was, I'd say, a second. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. That's pretty much all I have to say about that.
My thoughts on the match. Part of me actually agrees with Beck on this. It was far better paced than the previous match. The ending did feel a little bit rushed, but I don't think it was because of Brock Lesnar busting his face open. I think it was rushed because they were just going over for time. And they sort of were like, yeah, because this show went for 3.5 hours. So I think this match should have finished half an hour ago, but reasons. You know.
Reasons that neither of them can beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah, so I think they just sort of got told, hurry up, like, we got to finish this.
The Puerto Ricans want to go to bed.
Probably the Americans, too. But it did feel like a typical Brock Lesnar match. Lots of throwing around, lots of do a move, stand imposing over him, do a move, stand imposing over him. Other person does all the bumping, other person does the hard work, other person looks good in the process. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was a solid match. I was torn between this one or the triple threat being match of the night, to be honest. I think I just connected better with those matches, but yeah, other than that, yeah. So, big question is, how many cheese graters are you going to give it? The whole pay-per-view? Because I gave it a 3.
2.5. It was okay. It was okay, but I'm not in any rush to go back and rewatch any of it.
Shay?
I'd also give it a 3. The exact same sentiments as Johnny.
No, he gave it a 2.5.
Oh, I'll give it a 3. Like, very, very average pay-per-view. The
Bad Bunny match was cool.
Bad Bunny match was the coolest match.
That's another feather in his cap for his highlight reel.
Yeah.
Something for him to rap about later.
The fact that
Not English.
The fact that a not full-time wrestler managed to steal the night says a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And that probably says a lot about Damian Priest too. Like,
That's all booking.
I've been saying, we've been saying for ages, I don't know what Damian Priest is. I still don't know what Damian Priest is or who he's meant to be. But he put on a pretty good show tonight, so it's good to see him out of the shadow of the Judgment Day and doing his own thing and putting on a really good match. Because people forgot too that Damian Priest is from Puerto Rico as well.
Yeah, and he actually trained Bad Bunny.
Yeah,
so it's kind of full circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
even though he was the bad guy in the match, it was still a hometown match for him as well, which is really good.
Yes,
I think it highlights that there's the issue with Judgment Day. Like, the whole focus is on Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
We tend to forget that there is, in fact, one of the best wrestlers in the world in Finn Balor.
Yes.
And then there's Damian Priest, who really doesn't get time to shine himself. He just sort of stands in the background.
Sort of wish Finn would just leave Judgment Day and go back to being a solo.
I kind of think the best thing for Judgment Day is if Rhea Ripley left.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, as a unit, they are a hot property. I think they've actually overtaken the Bloodline as being the hot property faction in WWE.
LWO is now.
Oh, yeah, well, I kind of want to see more of LWO versus Judgment Day as a faction and just get that war over and done with.
I definitely think we will be, because that was kind of what they're leading towards with Ray and all that, being together with LWO.
Well,
Dominic's still feuding with him.
We'll get to that in a sec. Overall, I agree with John. I gave the entire pay-per-view a 2.5. This had moments of being good, but it had moments of that could have been done on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So just a couple of things we want to cover before we sign off. A couple of news items. So we had the WWE draft.
Yes.
So go over some of the people. Raw. We'll start with SmackDown. SmackDown got some good picks. So SmackDown got Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. They are the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
Right.
So they got them. They're actually pretty good. They got Asuka. United States Champion Austin Theory. So the US title is now on SmackDown. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. Bobby Lashley. NXT prospect Cameron Grimes. To the moon. Charlotte Flair. The entire unit of Damage Control. Edge. NXT superstar Grayson Waller, who's the annoying Australian. Hit Row. Now, why we're keeping Hit Row on the main roster, I don't understand. I think they should be shipped back to NXT. Karrion Kross and Scarlett. LA Knight. LA Knight should have gone to Raw.
Dummy.
Yeah.
He's so fucking over with everybody, but they continue to ignore him.
As opposed to the next person who couldn't get over if she tried, and that's Lacey Evans. The entire LWO, including Rey Mysterio, got drafted to SmackDown. Pretty Deadly, they got drafted up from NXT. Rick Boogs. Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman. Shotzi, Tamina, the Brawling Brutes, the OC, which is Gallows, Anderson, and AJ Styles, and Mia Yim, the Street Profits, and the Usos. Raw got Akira Tozawa, Alpha Academy, Apollo Crews has been drafted up from NXT, the Man Becky Lynch. Drafted over from SmackDown is Braun Strowman and Ricochet.
Bro.
Bronson Reed, Candice LeRae, Cody Rhodes, Dana Brooke, Dexter Lumis, Drew McIntyre, Emma, Humberto and Angel, the Intercontinental Champion Gunther and his faction Imperium, NXT Women's Champion Indy Hartwell. So we got another Australian on the main roster. Indus Sher. JD McDonough has been drafted up from NXT. JD McDonough is he's like a slightly watered down Finn Balor.
Yeah, right.
Because he was trained by Finn Balor. He used to go under the nickname the Irish Ace. Johnny Gargano. Katana Chance and Caden Carter, who they wrestled their last match on NXT against the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. So it's another women's tag team has been brought up to the main roster.
That's good.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions. Marseille, Mansoor, and Maxine Dupree. That's I don't even know what the name of the group is. Matt Riddle, your wife Natalia,
Nice.
Nikki Cross, Odyssey Jones. Who the hell's Odyssey Jones? He's not listening. Piper Niven.
Oh, trust me, I don't know.
The current women's tag team champions Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. SmackDown women's champion Rhea Ripley. Riddick Moss, the man who broke Big E's neck. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Seth freaking Rollins. Drafted over from SmackDown is Shinsuke Nakamura.
Nice.
Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. Drafted over from SmackDown was Tegan Knox. The Judgment Day, The Miz, The New Day, The Viking Raiders, Trish Stratus.
She's an active wrestler.
Yeah. She's in a feud with Becky Lynch.
Hell yeah.
Xia Li, and drafted up from NXT. And this one I'm really, really keen about is Zoe Stark. She's really good. And then we've got a few free agents. Baron Corbin, Brock Lesnar, Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, Omos, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, Elias, Von Wagner, and Zion Quinn. So that's...
Wasn't Mustafa Ali trying to leave WWE?
Yes.
Is he still trying to leave WWE?
No. But the two members of... who's that? Is his name Joe Gacy? Shay. Joe Gacy in NXT. Doesn't he have a faction with two guys? They're like some religious cult type thing.
Yeah, fuck. Hang on.
Because the
I know
other two guys actually asked for their release and got denied.
Really?
One of them, the tag team used to be in NXT UK because one of them was Liverpool's #1, Zach Gibson.
Yeah, what happened to him?
He's in this group. He just asked for his release and got
Schism.
it denied. Schism. Yes. Yeah, he
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, they asked for their release and got denied.
Huh.
But their contracts are up in November and they've made it clear they're not signing new ones.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. The other big news item was the day after WrestleMania, it was announced that WWE has been sold to Endeavor, which is the parent company of UFC.
Yes.
And then Vince McMahon showed up with his stupid mustache and said, I'm not going to be involved in creative, and promptly lied to us because Monday Night Raw, like the Raw after WrestleMania, is usually one of the best Raws all year. This was the worst. And apparently a lot of talent aren't happy because Vince McMahon has come back in every Raw and has changed it. He's cut half the women's sections out, cut matches, put crap in, and is just filling it up with garbage that we thought we were over, and is slowly handing the keys of the car back to Tony Khan and AEW.
Yeah, well.
It's a shame. It really is. They could have made something of it, but Vince McMahon, his stupid ego, screw it all up again.
CM Punk said, we're not getting rid of him until he dies.
Yeah, well. But apparently another woman is now filing a complaint against him.
Yeah, cool.
So maybe Endeavor this time might sit there and go, right, no, we don't need this. He needs to go.
Time will tell.
He's hoping.
Because they bought 51% of the company.
Yeah.
So they've got majority share now. Followed by him and then,
Yeah.
That's funny. Buddy Murphy actually commented on Dom Dom being written on on Rhea's ass.
Oh, what did he say?
So Rhea put a picture up on Insta saying, always bringing puppy with me. Then Buddy comments, he might be written on your bum, but I get to touch it.
And the final news item is that AEW All Out All out or all in?
All in is the
Wembley one?
The Wembley one.
Yep, they've already sold. It's sold out.
60,000 tickets.
70,000.
60,000, but they're releasing more tickets, so they are going to break 70,000.
Good on 'em.
And it's bolstered by the fact that CM Punk is going to be there. And that AEW is going to have a second or a third show called
third.
Collision, because they're shutting down Dark and Dark Elevation. And they're going to try and sort of do what WWE has done with the roster and sort of split the roster in half.
Yeah.
It's really to keep the Elite away from CM Punk.
Yeah.
And also because TNT and TBS want more AEW programming.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't have had this problem if they didn't sell WCW 20-odd years ago, but, you know, yeah. Right. So that's the end of that. That's the end of that show. We'll be back in a few weeks with AEW. We're going to step our feet back into AEW
Yeah.
with, I think it might be Double or Nothing.
Yes, Double or Nothing.
Yes.
In Las Vegas.
So that should be an interesting change of pace compared to what we've watched for the last couple of months. So
Yeah.
be great to see that. We're also toying with the idea of doing something a little bit different, of doing a sort of a trivia game show episode. So
I don't like homework.
you don't have to do homework.
You can just guess.
Yeah.
Just look like a dumbass.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we should be able to do something like that. But anyway, on behalf of Beck and her Judgment Day from Puerto Rico.
It's like
God.
Porta Potty, Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yes.
Portable Rico.
It's a portable toilet with Rico, the stylist guy from
Yeah.
3-Minute Warning.
That gay dude from the early 2000s.
From
Yeah.
Billy and Chuck.
Yeah, that guy. Inside a porta toilet.
Who could actually fight.
Yeah.
Yes, he can fight.
So on behalf of Beck, JB, Shay, and myself, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you in a few weeks' time. Until then, goodbye.
Bye.